Happy Tuesday. Just waiting for Facebook to go on. Hi, Facebook. All right. So we got Facebook, we got Instagram. Hello, guys. So today we are going to be talking about failing to implement in your coaching business and why that has you stuck. So feel free to drop your questions or your comments into the chat and we can discuss them here live, or if you're watching the replay, I will definitely respond to your comments. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So what do I mean by failing to implement? So I have quite a long definition for failing to implement here. It means failing to take action, even if it's imperfect action, or continuously implementing something when you know it doesn't provide you with results. So those two things I would consider failing to implement. So failing to take action, even if it's imperfect action, or continuously trying to implement something when you know it doesn't provide you with any results. So um, I found that a lot of entrepreneurs, especially coaches, will not take action or the next step in their business because they're waiting for something to happen. So, waiting for themselves to start making money, waiting for themselves to start getting clients, waiting for themselves to start getting consistent on social media, waiting for themselves to hire someone, whether that's to do their social media or something else in their business, or just do things that they don't want to do in their business. They're waiting. And I hate to break it to you, but you'll be waiting on these things forever if you don't have strategies in place to help you achieve these things, right? So you will definitely be waiting on these things forever if you don't have strategies in place to help you achieve these things. Gathering as much information as possible is not a strategy. It literally is just researching. So if you're downloading all the things, listening to podcasts, taking courses, and consuming all the information possible, you still, but you still haven't been able to see the results that you've envisioned. Like you're doing all these things, you're wondering why it's not working, right? You're on Clubhouse listening to experts for hours and hours and hours on Facebook, on Instagram, Google, YouTubing, but nothing is working. Constantly consuming and hoarding information without implementation will keep you in a steady state of being stuck in your coaching or your consulting business. Okay. Researching and consuming more information isn't going to help you because you don't have an information problem. You have an implementation problem. Okay. So, researching and consuming more and more information is not going to help you because you don't have an information problem. You have an implementation problem, right? And no, despite what you think, you're still not getting all of the information, even though you're consuming more and more and more, right? Like, I know people think, all I gotta do is just learn this one thing or learn a couple more things. Like, you still are not getting all the information, quite frankly. You can't reverse engineer what you can't see, right? Everybody's not giving you all the information out there for free. They're just not. And most coaches actually have what I like to call a conceptual implementation problem. I call this a conceptual implementation problem. Having a conceptual implementation problem means that you don't know how to apply the concepts you're learning to your business directly. Hey there. Hey, Della, how are you? Thanks for joining. Yeah, so having a conceptual implementation problem means you don't know how to apply the concepts that you're learning to your business specifically. So you can have all the information in the world, right? But if you don't know how to apply it to your business specifically, it doesn't matter. Hey, Darren, how's it going? So look at it this way, right? You could have read the manual backwards and forwards of how to remove an engine from your car, right? How to remove an engine from your car and put a new one in. You're looking at the pictures, at the videos, but then when you go to do it, there's something missing. You're like, oh shoot, I don't know what to do. Something's stuck. This screw doesn't look quite the same as it looks in the manual or the video, right? Something about your car is different from the picture. You have a different model, whatever the case may be. You need to use a slightly different technique because it's not working. You don't even open the hood of your car then in the same way that they do in the video or in the picture, right? It's just different. So now you're stuck. Now you're stuck. And you're still consuming more information. And it's not until you find somebody who can take a look at your specific situation, right? Specific situation in the business or give you specific advice that you would be able to continue to do the thing, right? Move the thing forward, right? So again, you don't even know like how to, let's say, open the hood of your car in this example. So you're stuck and you still keep consuming more information. It's not until you find someone who can give you the instructions or take a look at it from your specific point of view or situation that you're able to move forward. And it's the same thing in your business. Until you can get specific advice, not generic advice, because that's what all the information consuming is doing, giving you generic advice, but specific advice that you're actually able to complete the task. And in this case, completely remove the engine from your car and replace it with a different one or a new one, right? So when it comes to failing to implement, there are four main scenarios that I see. Four main scenarios that I see for coaches and consultants. Number one, not knowing how to implement, so you've tuned out everything. Number two, implementing everything because something's got to work, right? Number three, consuming all the information, especially for the wrong stage of business that you're in. And then number four, continuing to do things that don't work. I'm going to check the chat real quick before I go through each one because we're going to break it down. Darren says, never listened to you on Instagram before. What's this about? Oh my gosh. Okay. Um, so let's talk about each one in each of these scenarios. So the first one, not knowing how to implement. So you've tuned out everything. I see a lot of coaches not implementing because they really don't know how. They don't know what to do with all the information that they're getting from everywhere. So it just goes in one ear and out the other. Number two, implementing everything because something's got to work, right? It's like, oh my gosh, one of these things has to work that I'm doing. The converse of the first situation, coaches are implementing like literally everything they possibly can at one time. Having too many services, too many digital products may seem like a good idea, like as much as you possibly can, and continuously launching may seem like a good idea, but it's actually working against you. You have too many things and your audience is confused. You also haven't given any one thing the proper time it needs to gain traction. And that's really important. Like if you're continuously launching new products all the time and you don't have what I call your core offerings, you haven't given people a chance to really get to know you and your core offerings from the beginning. So they're just seeing all this different stuff, especially if it's like not really related. So they don't even really know what you do. And they keep seeing all this different stuff. They're confused. They're not going to buy from you. That's just the reality of it. Number three. Oh, and also anytime, guys, please feel free to drop questions or comments into the chat and I'll definitely go through them. So third, consuming all the information, especially for the wrong stage of business that you're in. Okay, this is a big one. Consuming information that is not for you in the stage of business that you're in right now, right? The information isn't necessarily wrong, but honestly, it's just not for you where you are in your business today, right? So if you're not making sales consistently, you need to be focusing on sales, marketing, and growing your business, right? You need to be making consistent revenue, right? You don't need to be focused on scaling. You have to be making consistent revenue in order to be able to scale. So you're getting frustrated about applying someone's technique who is already making 20, 30, 40, 50K, right? It may not work the same for you because you haven't made 5K yet in your business each month. Hey there. Hey there, hey there. So since you haven't even made that amount, you're trying to do someone's technique that's making like, more than double the amount that you're making, and it's not working because there's other systems and things that they have in play that's working for them to help them pull off this technique that you don't even know about, right? So again, not to say that it doesn't work, but I have seen a lot of coaches, they'll try to do these things and they lack the proper foundation and they try to skip to the next step and you don't have the foundational systems in place. You cannot scale a broken system. I repeat, You cannot scale a broken system. The fourth thing is continuing to do things that don't work. So, continuing to do the same things repeatedly that aren't working now, you have to make changes in your business when you're not seeing traction, right? Now, what changes do you make? This all depends, right? And this is where having someone to help diagnose the problem actually comes in handy. A lot of times, what we think the problem is isn't actually what the problem is. But you have to have someone that can take a holistic view of what you're doing to make an accurate assessment. Notice how I said a holistic view, right? When I ask coaches what they think their problem is, it's usually never what they think, like what the actual problem is, because they're too close to the situation, right? You're in your little silo, you see what you're doing every single day. You can't see the forest for the trees in front of you. That's literally the analogy. Like, you don't know, and like someone looking at the whole big picture can be like, oh, okay, you need to change this part of it and it should work fine. So like when I work with clients, I don't make determination or like assessments based upon their feelings of a situation, right? Or how what they think it might be. I'm actually looking at your data, I'm looking at your numbers, the actions that you've taken or the lack thereof, and the results, right? I teach my clients how to do the exact same thing. Building your business doesn't have to feel like you're flying blind all the time. You can remove that guesswork, some of the guesswork, if you know what you're looking for and how to implement the concepts that you've been learning and trying to like cram in your head over and over and over in your business. If you understand the concept, you can implement it in other places. But if you don't actually understand the concept, there was going to be a failure to implement. It just is, right? And failing to implement will cause you to feel stuck, like the business isn't for you. You're attracting everyone other than your ideal client. You will continuously be launching and launching and relaunching, trying to reinvent yourself each time, revamping your website, revamping your branding, changing your entire offerings. Any of this sound familiar, guys? You need some direction, a strategy that's going to focus on how you can get clients and not just get more information, okay? How you can actually get clients and not just get more information. At some point, if you're really serious about building your business, if you're serious about getting coaching clients, if you're serious about having coaching offers that actually make an impact for your clients, you're going to have to stop consuming so much information and learn how to specifically implement it in your business. Okay? You're going to have to do that. And that's why inside the Brand Builder Blueprint, I'm teaching my clients how to apply different client attraction strategies so that they can get clients consistently and build their coaching businesses. But most importantly, we nail down all the foundational elements of your coaching offers and your products that people like to skip. Because guess what? Who wants to continuously launch things that don't sell? No one. Said no one ever. I want to keep launching stuff that doesn't sell. Said no one ever, right? So, because the strategy or the techniques you keep reading about may work, right? But you've missed the foundational pieces. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. So, like your niche, your offer, your messaging, your target market, it's not working. You have no idea why. And you keep reading about all these things over and over and over, isn't going to fix it. Denying you have these challenges isn't going to fix it, right? The only way to move forward in your business is to actually move forward and learn how to make these concepts work in your business specifically. Your business specifically. Notice how I said your business specifically and not just in business, right? So, if what I'm saying, if that resonates with you and you're tired of feeling lost and not getting the results that you really want to get, you need help learning how you can apply all this information you have in your coaching business specifically so that you can sell out your coaching program, click the link in my Instagram bio and apply for the Brand Builder Blueprint program. If you're watching me on Facebook, then click the link in the description of this live and click on the Brand Builder Blueprint applications. So, I want to do a recap, but before I do that, I want to check for questions. Check for questions. Okay, hold on. Della says, I used to do that, throw everything at the wall to see what sticks. It's exhausting. I know, right? It's like, I'm tired just listening, just thinking about like throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. Darren says, you cannot scale a broken system. Yeah, it would just hurt you, I think. Yeah, it would hurt you. It'd be really frustrating. It's like, scaling a broken system is like trying to like, how like if you watch MacGyver, so maybe y'all don't watch MacGyver. I like MacGyver. I know. So like MacGyver, they'll be like in the situation, they'll be like underwater and like the boat is sinking or the submarine, the boat is sinking. He'll be like, oh, I got a paper clip and I got some gum and I got some paper clips. Oh, they like he unfolds it and a rubber band and he like opens the door and they get out. It's like you can't you cannot do that in your business. It works for MacGyver, but it's also TV. So, but that's what like scaling a broken system is, right? It's just kind of like piecing everything together and then hoping that it's not going to be able to fall. Like a bridge made of toothpicks is not going to be the same as a bridge made of steel. It's just not. So, Darren. Darren's calling me a nerd. Listen, I know I'm a nerd, okay? Listen, I know I'm a nerd, but thank you for the fire. Because, hi, Kiera. How are you? Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. I know I'm a nerd, okay? I love MacGyver. I don't care what anybody says. Like, MacGyver he's just the best. In situations where my life depends on it, I would love, I'm trying to be like MacGyver. All right, guys. So let's recap really quickly. We've been talking about failing to implement in your coaching business. And I talked about what that means to me when I say failing to implement. I have quite a long definition for it. It's not just failing to take action. So it's failing to take action, even if it's imperfect, but it's also continuously trying to implement something that you know doesn't provide you with results. So that to me also represents failure to implement. And like I said, I think a lot of coaches get stuck here. They get stuck in the consuming information trap and they're waiting for things to happen. Like, oh, I'm just going to wait for myself to make money. I'm going to wait for me to get consistent on social media. I'm going to wait for me to learn these things or wait for things to click. But you waiting is not going to actually fix the problem. You're just going to be waiting. You're wondering why, like you consuming and hoarding all this information, being on Clubhouse all day, Google, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all these places, you're just continuously feeding yourself information, but you're not doing anything with it. You do not have you do not have a information problem. You have an implementation problem. Okay. Like you can't have an information problem because you have so much of it. So like you're continuously consuming it. Your problem is not with information, it's with implementation. And it's actually what I would call conceptual implementation. You have a conceptual implementation problem, meaning you do not know how to apply the specific concepts that you're learning inside your business. Like there's a disconnect there with this concept and how do I apply it to my unique situation? And that's where having someone who understands how to do that will come in handy to help you be able to grow your coaching business. So there were 4 main scenarios that I went over. I'm going to recap them that you need to watch out for as maybe you having a failure to implement inside your business. The first is not knowing how to implement, so you've tuned everything out. Like you're like there, but you're like a zombie. It's like you're not listening to anything. The second is implementing everything because you feel like something has to work. So this is another trap that I see. Like you're launching courses, you got coaching offers, you got workshops, master classes. Now, all these things could work if you have them structured in a strategic way, but just launching things to try and get people, like you're doing podcasts, then like you start to write a book, then you start to do like, it has to all make sense with your offerings and with your brand and not just doing things just because, right? The third thing is consuming all the information that you possibly can, especially for the wrong stage of business. So, a lot of the information that we get is not wrong. It's just that you don't know, you're not in that particular stage of business for that piece of information to actually be helpful for you. So like I said before, you're trying to implement someone's system unless they've actually pared it down to work for people, which typically this doesn't happen because a lot of coaches don't understand how to structure their program in such a way that's going to, actually even help the beginner. Like the person who's starting from level 0, their program is probably for somebody who's more advanced. But if someone who's like already doing like 50 to 100K months, they're trying to tell you how to do 50 to 100K months, they probably have skipped some of the foundational steps that you need that you haven't actually learned or implemented in your business. And so it's not working for you. So you have to implement information at the right stage, or taking information that's at for you at the stage that you're in your business and then implement it. Right. That's why there's a lot of frustration around that piece of things. And then the fourth thing is continuing to do things that don't work. So if you know something that's not working for you and you keep doing it over and over and over and over again, even though it's not working, that's a sign that you're going to need to change it up. And but you also need to figure out what particular pieces of it are not working. So is it your offer? Is it your messaging? Is it the way that you positioned yourself? Those are all things that need to be looked at. You can't just look at it in silence and be like, I'm going to offer something else. That's not going to fix the problem. It just isn't. Um, so you need to be able to take a holistic view at your business and what you're asking people to do, what actions you're asking them to take, and does it actually make sense? Because if it doesn't make sense, then people aren't going to take action. Anyway, you could offer a course or an ebook or whatever. You can keep changing your offers over and over and over. But again, it doesn't make sense. People still are not going to sign up with you. That's the reality. Um, so those are the four scenarios I think people need to watch out for. And I mean, like I said before, it doesn't mean that you're flying blind in your business. You just need to be able to get the right information to implement it at the right stage in your business, from a holistic point of view, so that your coaching business is going to be successful. So if anything that I've been saying is resonating with you, and you're tired, like I said, tired of feeling lost, tired of trying to do all the things, nothing's working, you're not getting clients consistently, go ahead and click the link in if you're watching me on Instagram, my Instagram bio, click the Brand Builder Blueprint application. If you're watching me on Facebook, it's in the description of this live. Apply for the Brand Builder Blueprint, and we can see if it's a good fit for us to work closer together. And I can tell you more about how I help coaches to build a profitable brand. So I'm going to check one more time, guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat or comments as well. I'm checking in all the places. Checking in all the places. Hey, hey. Anybody else have any other questions about implementing in their coaching business, consuming all the information and it's not working for you, why that is? Any other questions? Checking in before I'm going to actually repost this. So if you missed the beginning of the live, definitely go back and watch it. I think that there's some value, especially in the beginning, where we talk about just consuming information, just not doing anything with it. I think we get stuck there because we feel like there's something that we haven't learned that we're learned yet that we're missing. And a lot of times it's just that you just need a guide to be able to help you process all the information that you have and implement it specifically in your business. Information is no good if you don't understand how to apply it. That's my number one thing. If you don't understand how to apply the information you have, you'll just still be stuck at level 0. So, but yeah, guys, I don't see any questions. So definitely would love to hear from you guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My DMs are open. If you're watching me on Facebook, you can DM me at iSimplyShe. If you're watching me on Instagram at I_simply_she. Yeah, would love to hear from you guys throughout the week. Let me know what you thought about today's topic. If you want me to cover anything else, you can feel free to DM me that too. Yeah, so I think that's it. I'm going to go ahead and sign off of here, and I will see you guys later. Have a great rest of your week. Take care.